How you doing, everybody? Welcome back to Stand Focused for Jesus. Hope each and every one of you are having a blessed day in the Lord Jesus Christ. As always, y'all see it. You already know what's up. Your boy out here taking his walk. It's lit. It's lit out here. It's a beautiful day. Most importantly, it's lit in their heart. My heart is lit. That's the most important thing. Is lit with the love of God, with the wisdom of God, with the truth of God, with the knowledge of God, with the understanding of God. You know, and just overall just lit, man. So as you see from the title of the video, we're going to be addressing the women, but we also going to be addressing the men too. But we're also going to be dealing with the women, and then you can apply how you want to apply it. So the title may catch you off guard, because you're like, why most girls? Don't you mean women? No, I mean what I mean. Most girls grow up of dreaming, of imagining, of being thoughts, of being prostitutes, of being whores, of being tricks, and even some of being pimps. Now, how is that? Because a girl is a girl. A girl is a girl. Well, you got to understand, when these girls are growing up, they're obviously going to become women. But who are they being raised up by? They're being raised up by other women. So these other women, they are impressing, they are putting these images of what a woman is inside of these girls. So when these girls, they have a certain idea of what they think they want to be, on the subconscious level, the seed that the women, these mothers and society itself plant into these women, these girls, it's on that subconscious level. So when they start to grow up, then these seeds, they end up being more and more watered, and then as they are watered more and more, then they end up growing up into different type of trees and bringing forth different type of fruit and stuff like that, right? So then when they get of age, then those seeds that were planted by these women, who were already thoughts, who were already whores, who were already hoes, who were already these different things, not the image of God and what God made these women to be, but this unrighteous, unjust Jezebel image. These mothers, these women are already that. So they are planting these seeds into these girls, and then these girls end up growing up and they end up bringing forth the same fruit. So they may, hey, I want to be a doctor, I want to be a lawyer, I want to be all the different things, but that's not what they're going to be. And even if they do become those things, even if they do grow up to be a doctor or a lawyer or whatever, they end up being successful, they end up still having the thought mentality. They end up still having the thought. And you know, THOT. Some of you don't know. I'm not saying thought, but I'm saying THOT for those who don't know. They end up having that mentality. They end up having that mindset. They may be successful on the outside, but these girls who have grown up to be these quote unquote successful women, they are really broken. They are really broken. They're really full of these seeds, and this fruit comes forth. So even though they are very, very successful in what they are doing, they can't have a successful marriage. They can't have a successful relationship. They feel like they got to rule over the man and control the man and all this other stuff because that's what they have been ingrained with from the beginning, because that's the thought mindset. The thought mindset is, I'm going to use my body to rule over the man. Now what happens is, when you, like I said, you can take it and you can apply it how you need to apply it. When you're sleeping with all these different people, you're taking on their, you know, quote unquote energies. A little piece of them is left in you. Now there are studies out there, you can go look it up. Some people say it's legit, some people say it's not legit. That when a man goes into a woman and leaves his seed there, then that seed, the memory of that seed, even though she pushes it out when she cleanses herself and everything, it still is in her. It still is in her. The memory of that person being in her is still planted in her. And it's true, when you understand the psychology of people and you understand some other things or whatever, you're not worried about what they saying ain't possible or whatever, because you know what's possible. So you sleeping with these different men, and then a piece of these men, their DNA is literally being implanted, impregnated, even though you're not physically being pregnant by some of them, right? You're still being impregnated in your spirit. And then you sleep with another dude, and then that piece is implanted. Then you sleep with another, and that piece is implanted. So you're sleeping with all these dudes, and you taking on this, what we call masculine energy. You taking on this masculine energy for all these different dudes, and you think this is the way to do it. So you start acting like a man. You know, they think like a man, all this other stuff. And the same thing with men. When men sleep with all these women, they end up taking on that feminine energy, and then that feminine energy ends up pretty much controlling them. It ends up being the dominant, kind of like, you know, the dominant and recessive gene. We talk about dominant and recessive genes. The feminine energy in the men ends up being the dominant, and then in the women, the dang masculine ends up being the dominant, right? Because they ain't get themselves time to cleanse. They ain't get themselves time to heal. When you shouldn't even really be doing that or whatever. You shouldn't be really, you know, you shouldn't be doing that. That's what, you know, that's why God gave us those laws and everything. So they end up taking on all this energy from the people that they have been sleeping with, and then they wonder why they start acting like these people, that the very people they were sleeping around with, they end up acting like them. They end up taking on their personality. They end up taking on characteristics of them, because inwardly they are birthing their children, even though they may not physically be birthing their children. Inwardly and through the spirit, they end up birthing these types of children. And so you end up having, you could say, like a mixed multitude in a way, because now you got this piece of person in you, and you got that piece of person in you, or whatnot, and then it's combined, and they're fighting and everything, and then, you know, you come out with a child that's confused or whatever. You know, if you have a physical child, where did he get that from? Where'd she get that from? Or even if you're not birthing a child physically in that way, spiritually you're birthing a child from your fruit. Your fruit. And you're wondering why you're doing this and doing that. Because you're taking on the characters of somebody else, because the word says that life is in the blood. We know about DNA, we know about sperm, we know about semen and all these different things, right? So sperm, what we call sperm, is blood. It's water. Blood is water. So their lifeline, their life water is in you. And it's going to take root in you unless it's cleansing. The way it has to be cleansed, it has to be cleansed spiritually. So, like I was saying, girls, their dreams when they're growing up is to be a thought, to be a hoe, to be a whore, to be a prostitute, to be all these different things, because the women, most of these women that are over them, they're raising them up to be that, because that's what they are. You can't be a helpmeet if you are here, you know what I'm saying, thoughting. It's impossible. It's helpmeet. help meet. How you gonna help meet the man's needs and y'all growing together if you out here thoughting with everything and everybody? You out here thoughting with the men and the women. You spreading, you know what I'm saying? You spreading the gospel of the thoughts. Like, for real? You know what I'm saying? So the same thing even happens with the men. They end up taking on this mentality. You know, the Bible calls the male prostitute a dog. It calls him a dog. Then you have these independent women, and they want to play both sides of the fence. They want to walk on both sides of the field. They want to walk on the side. They want to be on the side that's green, where the grass is greener, and they want to stay on the side where the grass isn't green. Let me say this before I go forward. I told my wife this. She got upset. She got upset because she didn't understand what I was saying at first. And I told her, I said, women are naturally agents of chaos. And she was like, nah, you know. I said, women are naturally agents of chaos. Now, if y'all women gonna be real, you know that you are naturally agents of chaos. How? Because of what happened with Eve. Because of what happened with Eve, that curse passed to each and every woman. When Eve did what she did, she became an agent of chaos because there was order. There was order. And what she did, it caused chaos. Now we know that the woman was deceived, and Adam, what he did, he shouldn't have did it. He was wrong too, but he did it because he loved his wife. That's why God said, if you love your wife, your husband, or whatever more than me, you're not worthy of me. What Adam did, he was putting his wife above God. And so he was wrong for that. But God still extended to him grace because what he did was in love, even though he was still disobedient. And then they came to repentance. So women are naturally agents of chaos because Eve was an agent of chaos when she did what she did, taking that which was in order and making it out of order. Taking that which was in order and making it out of order, putting it in chaos. Right? So like I said, my wife, she didn't agree with it at first, but then as time went on and everything, she actually started to see it. You know, certain thing that she would do, I'm like, look what you're doing. You're walking in the flesh, or you're speaking in the flesh, and you're bringing chaos. And she was like, yeah, you're right. I see it now. And then other examples and stuff like that. Women will have a good dude and then they end up destroying a relationship. How many women are out here single? Oh, I wish I had a good dude, Or how many women now, like, you know, looking back on their relationships and stuff and like, so-and-so was a good dude. You know, he really liked me for who I was and all this other stuff. And then what did women do? They destroyed the relationship. There's so many examples of it, it's ridiculous. So many examples of it that it's ridiculous. So you can't be a helpmeet if you out here spreading and preaching the gospel of the thoughts. You can't be a helpmeet out here spreading and preaching the gospel of the thoughts. Right? So, what's the solution to it? The solution is a change of mindset. Your mind has to be changed. You have to be renewed. You have to be cleansed. You have to be cleansed of all those spirits that you have allowed to be in you, to be embedded in you, to attach themselves to you. Why do you think when the spirit goes out, the unclean spirit goes out? Because fornication, all these different things, they are spirits of uncleanness, right? Then they bring back 7 worse than what they were. Why do you think when you get in a relationship, you know, then you get in a relationship when you're young, you have the, you know, the puppy love and everything, right? You get the puppy love. And then gradually as you go through life, you get into more and more relationships, and then the relationships end up being worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. There's a correlation with that. It's a correlation with that. You see what I'm saying? Those unclean spirits, they represent those relationships and everything that you have been through in life a lot of time, because those unclean spirits, they're dwelling in other people. They're dwelling in other people. So yeah, these unclean spirits are coming to you because the one unclean spirit went out and he came back and everything, right? But then what do you think they're going to draw? What do you think they want to do? What do you think these unclean spirits want to do? These unclean spirits want to get their rocks off. They want to get their rocks off. So they're going to attract other people that want the same thing. They're going to attract these different men. They're going to attract these different women in your life to get you to do these things, because they're living through you, living through your flesh, because you want to live the life of a thought, or you want to live the life of a male prostitute. You want to be a gigolo. And then you wonder why your life is in chaos, because you live in a life of chaos outside of the order of things. There's a reason for order. There's a reason for, choosing good or evil. There's a reason for choosing between right and wrong. There's a reason for that. But most of us, we have been taught incorrectly, so we go on and we grow up doing what we have been taught. You can only do what you know. You can only give what you got. I tell you that all the time. You can only give what you got. So if all you got is the gospel of thoughting, if the gospel is all you got is the gospel of hoeing and pimping and sipping or whatever, then that's the only thing that you can do, because that's all you know. That's all you got. But the gospel of Christ comes in and shows you the right way, and then you have a choice, because you're like, okay, there's something greater, there's something deeper. Then you have to make the choice of what you're gonna do. Are you gonna continue in that lifestyle? Are you gonna continue in those different things? Or are you gonna come out of that and say, you know what, I don't want to do this no more? Women want to be independent. How you gonna be Mrs. Independent? I got this, I got that. I don't need a man for nothing. But then you still want the benefits of a woman that's a helpmeet. You still want the benefits of a wife. If you're not a wife, then you ain't no helpmeet. If you're not a wife, you're not a helpmeet. It's as simple as that. Now you can be a helper. We see what the Bible says. The older women and stuff like that or whatnot. They're helpers, but a helpmeet is married to a man of God to help him to do what? To fulfill the will of God, to make sure that he, doing what he's supposed to do. Helping to bring forth those children and stuff like that. Make sure hey, I got this part, whatnot, you take care of what you're supposed to take care of. So you got these independent women, but they want the same benefits of being dependent on a man. They want the same benefits of a helpmeet. You don't open the door for them, then they looking all crazy. Oh, you disrespectful. No, you Miss Independent, so why didn't they open the door for you? Open your own dang door. Then when you come at them like that, then they're looking all crazy. Oh, this is a woman. No, she's an independent woman. This whole Miss Independent, whatever, that's a woman with a masculine mindset. That's a woman with a masculine mindset. If you independent, then I don't need to open your door. You have no reason to get mad. If a dude is right there, I ain't got to open his door so he can get in there. I may do it out of the generosity of my heart, but I ain't got to open his door. Open his own dang door. If that's the way it goes now. You don't do this, you don't do that. Oh, he ain't doing this, he ain't doing that or whatever. But you independent. So what you need me to do this for? Then you're in a relationship, and then when the dudes ain't doing what you want to do, then you want to get upset. Well, how you gonna get upset if you independent? He ain't giving you no money. He ain't giving you this. He ain't giving you that. He won't even open up the drawer, or not open the drawer, but open up the jar or whatever, so that you can, peanut butter or whatever. You independent, so you need to figure it out yourself. You know what I'm saying? So this whole mentality is a mentality that society has taken on, the women have taken on, the men have taken on, which isn't correct. And we have pushed it, and we are living it like it's the truth, like it's like it's the gospel, like it's the correct way of life. when that's farthest from the truth. Now, how is it that we talking about we came from kings and queens, coming from royalty, but then the things that we do is not of a royal mindset? Tell me how that go. How does that go? How does that go? If the queen was in quote unquote thought, and who she was thoughting with, she was going to thought with her king. That's their business. That's their business if they want to do that, in the confinements of their home and everything, in the confinements of their palace. If they want to walk around and act like thoughts in their own power between the two of them. They want to, you know what I'm saying, get freaky and stuff like that between the two of them. Then that's their business. So, how is it that mentality has went over to public? I'm a whatever. Obviously, I'm not saying that, a king or queen should thought, but hopefully you get my point. But this mentality of, being a whore, being a whatever, has overflowed. The cup has overflowed, where it's normal behavior. But these same people are talking about that they are kings and they are queens. And the truth of the matter is, just thinking about it, it is true. They are the king of the thoughts. They are the king of the dogs. They are the queens of the thought. They're the queens of the hoes and the whores. That's what they are. That's what they're telling you. They're telling you and they're showing you that they are the kings and queens of the gospel of hoeing around. The gospel of Bacchus. They are kings and queens of fornication, lasciviousness, adultery, uncleanness, maliciousness, lying, stealing, killing to get what they want and get in the position that they deserve, they think they deserve to be in. They're telling you what they are the kings and queens of. And that's their gospel. Their gospel is the gospel of thoughting, the gospel of hoeing around. And so when you have a gospel, you have a teaching of something, then there's doctrines that go along with it. There are laws that go along with it. There are laws, they say, when you're pimping and doing stuff, there are laws, hey, you don't break the pimp code. Come on now. So this is a lie they're living, and they are bound to that. But you ain't looking at you ain't judging the tree, because the Bible says you would know a tree by its fruit. So are you looking at as king and queen? Oh, they're royalty. Don't you disrespect them? They're royalty. So don't you dare disrespect them. Last time I checked, my kingdom is greater than their kingdom. So if I want to disrespect them, then I will disrespect them, because they put themselves forth to be disrespected with the thing that they're doing. So if anything, then they need to respect the greater kingdom. They need to respect the greater kingdom, because the greater than them is here. The greater government is here that rules over them. So if they come with all that crazy talk, we ain't trying to hear it. And they get mad because they have this great army of the masses. They get mad because there's a great army of the masses. They think they can say and do whatever they want to. They got a billion-man army. We don't need a billion-man army. We finna run through them with 10,000 people. 10,000 true soldiers. Because we're more powerful, stronger than them, wiser than them. All these different things. And we got our God with us. So this is the world that we live in. This is the world that we live in. Most people are being indoctrinated into the gospel of the thoughts, both men and women. And this is what you're seeing. You're reading it. You're seeing it being played out. When you go on watch TV, you see all this crazy stuff going on. You hear these crazy stories or whatever, crazy relationships, because they have been indoctrinated into the gospel of the thoughts. and they are living it out. They have the doctrines of it. They have the teachings of it. They went to the school. They sat under these elders that are elders of the gospel, of the thoughts. So they teach them these things, and they go forth raising them up as these unrighteous children to do these different things. And they get rewarded for it. They get rewarded for, having, babies out of wedlock and everything. They don't reward, strong families, especially not black families. They want the black man out the household. But then they reward the woman with all the rewards, all these benefits or whatever from the government, because the government is a government of thoughting. It promotes, fornication and porn and all this other stuff. The woman gets more benefits by not having the man in the household, having the father there, than she would if he was there. So then she has a choice to choose. Now I'm gonna have these children or whatever, and then, you just go about your business. Because I need to get these benefits. I need to get these foods. I need to get this welfare, or whatever it is. I need to get these, these stimmies. People getting excited. Oh yeah, I get more money because I got children out of wedlock and stuff like that. Like, come on, man. That's a thought mentality. Well, your mentality should be like, well, shoot, the government gonna get his money. Now I'm gonna go get my money, and I'm gonna do something with it. Because I had children. Hey, these are my children. I had with my husband or whatever. Yeah, a lot of us were born out of wedlock, but do we continue to keep that same mindset that our parents had? Is that an excuse? That's an excuse now? Well, I was born out of wedlock. Do you see me still having that same mindset? Like, yeah, I'm going to do the same thing my mama did. I'm going to do the same thing my mama did and have me out of wedlock in high school, or with her at the time high school sweetheart. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Then my daddy didn't want nothing to do with me. I'm going to keep that same mindset. I'm going to do the same thing with my children and my woman. That's foolish. But this is the mindset you have people thinking. They would say something like that. Well, Brother King, what you saying about this and that? You be talking about, about, just doing things differently. You be bragging about, anybody brag, I'm boasting in the Lord. You brag about your children, being born at home or whatever. I was born in the hospital. When you know better, you do better. When you know better, you do better. Do I continue in the same cycle when I have a greater understanding? Why would I continue in the same cycle? Because I'm responsible for what I now know. I can't be responsible for what I don't know. I can't be responsible for what I'm ignorant about. But my ignorance isn't. And I spoke about this before. You can't use ignorance as an excuse. You can't use ignorance as an excuse because you don't want to address something. You don't want to know something, so you're hiding behind the veil of ignorance. So hopefully it doesn't have to be addressed, because now you're using that as an excuse, and that in itself is a sin. It's a sin unto God. It's a sin to yourself, because ignorance destroys. How many lives have you destroyed in your lifetime because of your ignorance? How many women have you hurt because of your ignorance? How many men have you hurt because of your ignorance? How many people have you hurt because of your ignorance? And then when you gain that wisdom, you gain that knowledge, you gain that understanding, what do you want to do? You want to give it to people so they can be healed. And you see the area where you're like, no, I apologize. Hey, I know better now. So let me show you. So you don't go forth and you do the same thing. So, yeah, this is the mindset of most people. This is the world that we live in. If you just simply look around you, you will see that it's not hard to see. It's not hard to see. It's not hard to see, unless you don't want to see. So, with that being said, God bless each and every one of you in Jesus Christ's name. As always, stay focused for Jesus, and as you know, the truth is not debated, it is declared.